things I'm looking at, and what I took today, what I could have done better, and then what we're keeping our eye on for tomorrow. So let's start with what I took today. Alright, so I took 3 trades on AMD, 1 trade on SPYs, 4 trades total. All 4 of them were winners, not as good as they could have been. So this morning I took a call on AMD on the 5-minute chart. So entered here as we retook the VWAP, and I exited here as we were starting to show weakness and pulled back. Just went ahead and closed it. Didn't want to risk it. Take the quick 10% scalp. With it being in the morning, contracts were more volatile. Volatile. My goodness. So little moves like that, it went from about 17% to 10% when I closed on that tiny little move. So cut it for a quick win, and don't be mad if it goes for more. It didn't. What I should have done was recognize what we were doing. So if we look at it here on this morning, golly. So we got all my lines drawn up. These are my support resistant zones to watch, right? Had a beautiful bounce this morning right off the opening candle. Another beautiful top right there. Almost a little double top action going on. And you can throw a fib on here. Pulled back almost into the 0.618. Great spot for a reversal, and it don't. That's what I should have been watching. Could have made that trade a lot better, a lot more profitable, picked the right direction. However, if you throw it on from here at the low up to the high, what I was playing the first time was the 0.618 fib, just in the other direction. Ran up, came down, hit it right here, and sold it up here. So took the opportunity that was presented. However, there was a better opportunity that I should have taken. When I realized that I've taken my cut right here, I should have flipped and looked for an entry to the downside, but I didn't. So instead, I went to SPY for my next trade. So I like to watch SPY on the 2-minute and the 5-minute throughout the day, but for now I've got it here on the 2-minute because I don't switch to the 5-minute on SPY till about 10 a.m. It's usually when I swap over on this chart. Anyway, I took a quick puts scalp, entered here at the rejection of this purple line, which is my 20 EMA, and I sold my contracts back when we thrusted through my line I have drawn up and started to retake it. So again, I didn't want to sit through a potential reversal. I mean, we held here first. This was a higher low. Took the rejection up here, and for all I knew, this was just going to keep going upward. But it didn't. Again, SPY had a lot of good re-entry points for the downward momentum. You had this flag, this not quite as clean flag, then another clean flag for its way down here. This afternoon, not so clean as far as flag setups go. You had this nice double bottom, and we had the previous day's close right here. So we came down, broke it, pulled back up, broke it one more time with a nice little double bottom, pulled back up, and that would have been a good clean entry to take. like I said, it's hard to, if you didn't catch that one, it's kind of hard to pick and choose right here where to take your entries at. You know, you could take it here as you broke the EMAs, but I'm not sure where your risk would have been had you done that. That's why I didn't take it. This action up here was kind of wicky, so you got some selling pressure on top of these candles. Came up and kissed my anchored VWAP, which was a nice little double top. That would have been a good spot for a put entry, but it didn't get back down to my next line here. This would have just been one of those that, you know, scale some out as it goes along, and then as it starts to recurve, just exit the rest of your shares. And we're still going. Not very clean entry points on this afternoon leg for it, but you know, you're not always going to get the most clean setups. And if you can take the ones that aren't clean to profit off of them, good for you. But to me, that's just too risky. My other two AMD trades I took here at 10:53. I don't have it marked up. So 10:53. This was not a good trade. Let's see what it looks like on the 2 minute. 10:53. Yeah. What a bad trade that was. So, what I was looking at was upward momentum, a shift in which way we were going. So I took this little mini flag on the 2 minute. Took this candle right here, and I took a call on it. Made a quick like 7% on the move, and cut it after the 5 minute started looking real heavy. So when I take these trades, I'm looking at a 5 and a 2 usually at the same time. So the 5 minute was looking real heavy, and I should have swapped to puts on it. What a clean entry that was. You got a beautiful flag going right off of the 20 and the VWAP. That was a great trade. Great entry point anyway. Ignored this flag setting up. I was just getting a little sidetracked. And then you had this little NPC screw everybody in their puts to get out, and then short it real quick to screw everybody that went long to get them out. But as we came down here to my next line that's drawn up, and we started to pull away from it, and this volume really started to push up on it, I entered right about here on it, and my risk was the bottom of this candle. So I took the 100 calls, and I exited up here when we started to pull back into the 20. We didn't quite make it up to this resistance line here, this 90.33. That was my next target point. So since we didn't make it there and we were starting to pull back, I went ahead and exited it for, I think it was 12%, 13% win, something like that. But again, you know, AMD's had some pretty clean setups last week and a half, 2 weeks. It's been a little easier to trade than SPY has. So it's been holding up even into the afternoons a little bit better for cleaner entries if you're into that kind of thing. So there's my trades. Things I'm looking at, watching banks. They've been holding up well. Bank of America held up very nice today, so long as, you know, it doesn't do a big old sell-off here into the last 40 minutes of market. And you know, you got JP Morgan. It was holding up pretty well earlier. Let's see if it's going to make me a liar. Nope, still doing pretty good. Schwab was down. It wasn't looking that pretty this morning. Be real nice to see it making that comeback here. Yeah, it made a little comeback right here. This sell-off does not look healthy for it, but it might catch and keep going. It's really what I want to see Schwab do. Goldman ball sacks over here. Let's see what it's done. It's at least held up. It's not selling off. So that's encouraging for helping push the markets back up. Uh, we want these banks to hold up. We don't want them to go anywhere. And some things I'm looking at for tomorrow. Open up my scanner over here. So BANL, it's a new IPO, I believe. It IPO'd Thursday last week, and today it just looks like the squeeze started to kick in, and we may get some continuation tomorrow. We may not. You know, I've seen these IPOs where they get that squeeze in and they're one and done, and then sometimes they carry on for 5 days. Yeah, so just need to watch it tomorrow, see what it's doing in the pre-market, see if it holds up, just consolidates and goes sideways. That would be ideal. WISA is on a stinker of a rip. Looks like we're getting some afternoon squeeze. Shorts were probably piling in this whole zone through here, and you know, it's just not moving down very hard for the shorts. So unless you're just taking micro positions on these shorts and doing some quick scalps, you know, you're probably getting a little nervous with it starting to push up like this, especially if you're in this zone here. So potential for it to rip into the afternoon, especially after hours. But I'd like to see it just go sideways here. This one has no news. Not sure why it's up. Maybe there's a large short report on it. Who knows? But keep this one on watch for tomorrow as well. ALIM, not a very pretty one. And it doesn't have much of history here. So low volume, you know, it is a low float stock, but very low volume has come in on it. Looks pretty ugly to trade. I don't think I'd touch that one, but I am interested in IMPP. It had news this morning. IMPP does have a history of running. It's got a history of squeezing, and it can be a one and done, and this one can also be a multi-day runner. So we had news here this morning, but it's kind of weird news. The management says its valuation is higher than where it is, so it's self-evaluated itself. At least that's what I got out of it. And it looks like all the shorts that piled in are being squeezed out because it's not pushing up where it should be, or I mean pushing down where they wanted it. So they're getting either margin called or cutting their losses here. So if this one can consolidate, especially into after hours, this one might be my top watch for a lower price stock to watch for an upward squeeze in the morning. That's about it for me on IMPP. Would only be a pre-market or right at open squeeze, maybe with a little dip and rip, side of salsa verde and guac. You know, just put it on your chip and eat it up. And quick overview of the market. SPY, nice rebound today off its sell-off. One of its cleaner days for getting in and out than what it's been in a while. Apple's kind of sad. Q's a little sad, but still decent little bounce. Tech here, you know, we've already went over AMD. And you know, NVIDIA, AMD kind of making similar moves. It's just AMD options are less expensive on the contracts. So sometimes I just play AMD over NVIDIA just for that reason. The contract premiums are lower, which means your price is less volatile, which means when it makes a a small move against you, it doesn't drop 50 cents per contract. But same thing goes when it moves for you, it doesn't move up as fast. But sometimes slower paced moving is easier to manage, less risk involved, not being able to cut it quick enough. So that's what we've done today, and that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. These 6 on my screen right here will be on tomorrow's list. And watching banks, WISA, and IMPP are my top 2 off of my percent gainer list here. And then I will be watching, see what else pops up pre-market tomorrow. Anyways, that's what I got, guys. Thanks.